As a part of Samyog, a symposium by SIBM Nagpur, we are honored to have here with us Mr. Hariram, Country Head India from Pinnacle Groups. So let's have a quick chat. So my first question to you would be, what's the most rewarding part of your job?
Fulfillment. Most important part of anything that I've done till date is fulfillment of having done it, right? So I always say this to my team as well. Love your work, not your job, and then life gets really good. So it's about how fulfilling my work has been. Is it having relevance to what I wish to achieve in terms as a purpose? What I wish to achieve as an individual in terms of adding back to the society or adding back to the community. So all those types of nice soft anchors that kind of goes in, plus of course fulfilling my career aspirations. So I think somewhere it's all about that when it comes to what rewards it out.
So my second question would be, what advice would you give to someone preparing for a leadership role?
See, leadership is not a position. Leadership is something which happens when you start having people looking up towards you, right? So let's reframe the question probably in terms of looking at preparing for a role, eventually where you become a leader, right? So that's easier to approach than directly say prepare for leadership roles. So the point is very simple. First and foremost, any role for that matter of fact would mean your ability to showcase competence, right? When I say it's the skill, it's both technical as functional skill, and then about the experiences, about the other attributes that you gather along. So all of this put together is the one primary critical element that you will have to showcase of display at every point in time to the people, right? That you are good at doing what you're doing, you're competent in doing what you're doing, and hence people have something to look up towards you. So that's point number one in true sense. And then most important of all is, how do you make people feel? Right? They say, right, they forget everything, but they will never forget how you made them feel during your interactions with them. So I think that's a very critical element as well. As a professional, as an individual, how did you make them feel? Did you make them feel bad? Did you make them feel good? Did that conversation feel rewarding for them at the end of that? So all these then makes a difference, because it keeps piling on, it keeps building on. It reflects back on you as a professional, on why people even come back to you, right? So that's the other part. So when you combine both these together, which is your ability to showcase that you are competent in doing what you're doing, you know a little more than what probably others are knowing, and you didn't make them feel silly to have come and spoken to you, but on the contrary made them feel good and carry something back. I think this will put you on that space towards leadership, because this is what leader is all about, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's what it is. So it's moving towards that, and hence you start preparing in those terms.
So my last question would be, if you could travel back in time, what advice would you give to your college self?
To my college self, wow, okay. I think somewhere my career choices is what I will go back and advise myself on, right? Because when I was back in college, I probably chose a job that came to me. I really did not design, move forward towards probably like how I would do today, right? And my times way back 2003, the internet was also not as accessible as it is today. Not too many networking that I really did, because I approached my, how do I say, it's more towards the marks, more towards closing the course, fulfilling what is needed for completing my course. That's it. And so I think that's the most important difference that I would bring on board now, right? Advise myself to take internships more seriously, advise myself to network better, advise myself to create that nice networked circle for myself that's going to help me, and then of course work towards probably starting with marks, right? Not just looking at scoring pass mark, maybe get a little better out of my college, get better out of my professors, so on and so forth. Yeah, I think that's most critical advice I would give myself.
Thank you so much, sir. It
Thank
was a
you.
very nice chat.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.